Who saw this? Who saw this story here? So, leaked government document reveals plan to mandate jab for students. All right, so let's have a look here. All right, this was printed in the Herald Sun today. Says here, leaked plan reveals drastic back to school steps. Okay, so what we're talking about here is the potential for mandatory vaccination for children. Okay, now I think that it's quite easy to conceive this being rolled out very, very soon. It appears that the government is simply rolling through one industry after another, but they're not satisfied with adults. That's right. They're not satisfied with adults. They think that everybody should get jabbed. They don't care about the COVID survival rate of kids or anything like that. They're just fixated on the vaccine. So let's have a look at what they're saying here. All right, I'm going to read to you a little bit from this article. It says here, quote, top secret draft documents have uncovered the drastic measures students could face when returning to school. High-level leaked planning documents from the Education Department obtained by the Herald Sun reveal the actions under consideration. It says here, under the framework, which are not finalized or confirmed, excursions, camps, assemblies, and performances would be halted in a bid to minimize spread. All right. Indoor sporting classes, outdoor contact sports also banned. Is this anything but an assault on children? Is this anything but preventing children to live their lives and develop? I mean, this is already ridiculous as it is. Goes on to say, indoor sporting classes. Oh, okay, I read that. Says here, parents would also be turned away from mingling at the school gate. All right, so having a chat with some fellow parents off grounds, because that supposedly is posing some sort of threat to our community. Goes on to say, while cohorts would be restricted from mixing together in one big group on campus. So you got to think to yourself, you see the government obsessing over 70% vaccinated, 80% vaccinated, so everyone can return to freedom, yet we see these documents here, these leaked documents, which strongly suggest the absolute opposite of freedom. Okay, we see in Israel and Singapore, the people were promised to have their freedoms back should they achieve a certain vaccination rate. And now we see some of the most draconian measures over in those countries. And you have to think that Daniel Andrews and those like him have no interest in returning freedoms. And this is really just proving our point. All right, have a look at this. It says here, the draft document stamped by Victoria State Government Department of Education and Training state that all students aged 12 and over should have one dose to attend school by 2022, while those in year 11 and 12 should be fully vaccinated. And what exactly does fully vaccinated mean? Does it mean 2 doses, or does it mean signing up to a never-ending spree of booster shots? Just, and if you don't make your appointment on time, then all of a sudden you're not fully vaccinated. You're going to get kicked out of school, excluded from society. It says here, it's understood there are also discussions around vaccination being given to primary age students from mid next year, subject to approvals from the TGA. I wonder if the Therapeutic Goods Administration are going to give their approval. I mean, you don't need to be a fortune teller to predict what the decision of the TGA will be moving forward. It says here, sources from inside the Department of Education said the prospect of mandatory vaccinations for kids had been discussed at length. Right. Discussed with who? Discussed with government bureaucrats, political appointments, or discussed with independent experts from outside of the government who may hold alternate views on the merits of mass vaccinating children with this provisionally approved vaccine, whereby the clinical trials are still undergoing. Goes on to say here, the state government maintains that mandatory vaccination for children are not under consideration. All right. Just like last year when Scott Morrison said that vaccination won't be compulsory, right? When he said we won't hold you down and make you take it. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous at this stage that anybody would even think about taking the government's word at face value when Scott Morrison and his colleagues have proven time and time again that they don't care about the truth. They don't care about keeping their word. Just tell Australians what they think Australians want to hear in the moment, and then in a few months' time, just go ahead and backflip on it and just shove it all in the bin, because I think when we're looking at something that doesn't matter to the average politician in our country, it's the truth, okay, with a few exceptions there. All right, so this is all fairly predictable, and I think that we all saw it coming. Now, if you couple this with what we're seeing here from, here we go, ATAGI recommendations on the use of COVID-19 vaccines in all young adolescents in Australia. All right, so they're investigating it. They're trying to sort of make us think that they're really considering it, and they're putting a lot of time and effort into it. All right, the benefits of vaccinating adolescents against COVID-19. Well, how about Atagi holds a balanced debate and puts together a panel of experts from both sides of the vaccination debate and broadcast it live on Australian television? How about you do that? If you got nothing to hide, you hide nothing. If you think your ideas are so good, you should be welcoming debate, not shutting it down. We know that experts with decades of experience, they'll never get a say when it comes to these types of decisions. You know that the lying mainstream media will never have them on their shows. It's all about the government narrative. All right, so moving along here, what a lot of us are concerned about, here we go, this is from education.vic.gov.au, promoting COVID-19 vaccination access for students aged 12 plus. It's not even, they're not even telling you that it's under consideration. They're actually using the word promoting. They're not even trying to hide it. We're promoting it. All right, so education.vic.gov.au have decided that it's good. Atagi here says that, it's under evaluation and all that sort of thing. So what I can tell you is that I have supporters, MCJ supporters of mine, they're already pulling their kids out of school due to their fears of this new term that has been coined called mature minors, where the government has come out and said that, well, we understand that kids under the age of 18, some of them are developed and they can make their own decisions. So what do they need their parents for? Let them make their own decision to get the jab after we've given them all the trustworthy information from the government that's, not biased at all or anything like that, I mean, can you believe this? Look at this. All right, so here we go. Vaccination for adolescents, consent. It says it right here, education.vic.gov.au. It says you can book your own vaccination appointment and you may be able to consent to vaccination yourself if the health professional assesses you to be a, quote, mature minor. And we're seeing that term a lot. This means that the health professional assesses that you understand the information relevant to your decision, etc. So, stuff the parents. Don't worry about parental consent. Don't worry about parents' God-given right to oversee the health of their own children. No, leave it up to the government, and if the government or the teachers or whoever decides that Jack is a mature minor, then the parents have absolutely no say in it whatsoever. So they can go ahead and fill Jack's head with all sorts of things that they think is appropriate to fill his head with. And then, you're a mature minor, aren't you? You're smart enough, aren't you? I mean, this is just absolute insanity. Why is it that parental rights are severely under attack in our country and we don't see more outrage about it? I think this is absolutely outrageous. I mean, I know my supporters, as I said, they're pulling their kids out of school. They're setting up homeschooling networks because they don't want to be in a position where they lose their rights, which is absolutely fair enough. All right, so we go along here. Also, education.vic.gov.au. So you might be asking your question, I mean, what exactly constitutes a mature minor? So let's see what they're saying right here. It says, can young people consent to medical treatment? It goes on to say, Victorian law is clear on consent for medical treatment by a GP. Young people who are mature minors can consent to their own treatments, okay? And I'm just going to put it out there. I believe that the designation of a mature minor, I'm just going to call it out. I'm going to label it as arbitrary. Arbitrary based on whoever happens to be giving the designation. All right, so this is also from education.vic.gov.au. In relation to mature minors, it says, the law recognises that as children become older and more mature, they are more capable of making their own decisions about a wide range of issues, including decisions about their education, healthcare and well-being. The law recognises, all right, and who exactly is in charge of drafting the law? Put that in the comments. That a young person may reach this stage before they're 18 years old. But here's the kicker. There is no specific age when a young person may be sufficiently mature and capable of making their own decisions. These young people are referred to as mature minors. There is no specific age. So what 8 years old, 7 years old? This is just absolutely disgraceful. It needs to be called out. And my prediction is that huge homeschooling networks are going to develop. I think that huge portions of the Victorian public and people from all around the world where this sort of thing's going on are going to be pulling their kids out of school and saying, we can do a better job ourselves. Let's stick to the basics in terms of education, and more importantly, let's retain our rights. So maybe you've got kids in school right now and you're a bit concerned about that. Put your thoughts in the comments, but watch this space, because I will be reporting on the development of these homeschooling networks and how you, as a parent, along with your children, can get involved in it.